We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cage My IQ. I'm your host, D-Bake. Today we will be recapping one on TNT IV, which was headlined by a light heavyweight title matchup between Aung Nsang defending his title against Reinier and a great matchup that was on tonight. Once again, this is Cage My IQ. Before we break into the recap, just to let you guys know, you can find us on social media at these platforms right here to the left. Check our Twitter handles for Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch right there to the left. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch page to check out all the content that we have from the past to the present now, so you don't miss any coverage of all four MMA promotions that are out right now. We cover it all right now, so whether it's UFC, ONE, Bellator, or PFL, we cover them all. So don't hesitate to miss out on the action. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe to it right there. And once again, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. And I am your guy, D-Bake. But let me get started with the first matchup here on one on TNT 4's main card, which was a matchup which we saw Kirill Grushenko defeat Phenom Omar Rugru Kane by TKO punch at 5 minutes of round 2. As everybody knows, Rugru is a crowd sensation and one on TNT since he premiered 2 fights ago. He also fought on one on TNT 1 where he knocked out his replacement opponent on the prelim and then called out Brandon Vera. But he took a matchup tonight against Kirill Grushenko, and everybody figured that he was going to come in and knock out Grushenko in round 1. Well, that's not what happened. What happened was Kirill Grushenko controlled the octagon from the minute the fight started, and these two were basically in clinch majority of the 2 rounds, where Grushenko just kept on hitting Omar Kane with these small body shots here and there while wearing him out on the feet, keeping him from shooting those power shots at him. At the one shot that Omar Kane had, Grushenko was able to dip and dodge away from it by keeping his face off center. So Kane never really had a shot at hitting him because of how disciplined Kirill was. But at the end of the second round, with both guys had a pretty decent second round where they were just in clinch and then punching and hitting each other in the sides. Right before the bell rings, Kirill hits Omar Kane with a couple shots. The bell rings, and then he hit him with a good one to the neck of Omar Kane, which with the delayed reaction, Omar Kane falls to the ground. Asked for them to look at him and said that he was hit after the bell. But when the ref and management went to look at the tape to see if it was after the bell, they deemed that it was legal and that it was within the motions of them fighting each other. So it wasn't going to be a DQ, and Omar Kane said he couldn't continue. So the victory was given to Kirill Grushenko by TKO punch at 5 minutes of round 2. beating Omar Kane and then giving him his first loss as a pro. I could see Omar Kane coming back from this, but he's definitely going to need to go back into the training and take a little bit of time and work on his cardio, and then just work on being able to fight these guys that are bigger than him, because he had trouble in the clinch. Usually he's the guy that gets in and just takes the guy down with ease, but he had a hard time taking down Grushenko because he was longer than him. Grushenko used his long length to his advantage here to keep Kane at bay and to keep him from shooting those power shots, and then he essentially then used to the neck, which finished Kane and pick up the victory. And now he's 4-0 in his pro career and 1-0 one championship fighting. And then I'm interested to see where he goes from here. But he should be proud that he was able to beat this phenom who we thought was going to be a player in the heavyweight division. But now it looks like Grushenko is taking that mantle and is moving on to the next fight, where Omar Kane is now looking back and is going to have to fight somebody else to get back to where he was now. Moving on to the second fight on the card, we had a great matchup, probably the fight of the night, in my opinion. It was a lightweight division matchup where we saw Aung defeat Eddie Alvarez by unanimous decision. Earlier on in the first round, we saw Aung land a great shot on Eddie Alvarez, which knocked him to the ground. And then we thought Aung was going to finish Eddie Alvarez. He started ground and pounding him, and Eddie Alvarez came this close to being finished, but he ran. And then in rounds 2 and 3, him and Aung put on a show, attacking each other at will, where it could have went either way those rounds. But these guys put it on the floor in the second and third round, with Eddie punching Aung a couple great times, and then Aung coming back at Eddie Alvarez and connecting on him a few times. And then at the end, the first round definitely was the difference in this fight, because the judges gave the decision to Aung based majority on the first round knockdown and near finish that he had on Eddie Alvarez, because the second and third round could go either way. So they give the decision to Aung, and the number 5 ranked lightweight picks up the victory against Eddie Alvarez and makes a stake to get a top 3 matchup, which could lead to a fight with Yuri Lapikis, which we thought that Eddie Alvarez was going to get, but now it looks like Eddie Alvarez is on the outside looking in again, not be able to crack the top 5 of the division after the crazy no contest against Yuri Lapikis. I'm very proud of Aung, considering last week he picked up a victory against Guruvov to earn this matchup with Eddie Alvarez, and then he was able to come back a week later and look even stronger and even better than he did last week to beat Eddie Alvarez. And the sky's the moon, as you would say, for Aung. He could go back, train, and wait to see what top 5 matchup is next for him. But if he continues this, I think he could be a good future opponent for Christian Lee when he comes back from being out. But he's definitely going to need at least one more fight. Like I said, against a guy like Yuri Lapikis or Nastukin before he can earn that title fight. But he's definitely on the right track, and now he has 2 wins in 2 weeks and has put up a great showing on the One on TNT platform, whereas Eddie Alvarez had a great showing against Yuri Lapikis before the DQ turned no contest. And then even after this one, other than the knockdown in the first round, Eddie Alvarez picked it up in the second and third round and looked very good after that. But he's going to definitely need to come back, work even harder, and defend a little bit better, because he was just one shot away from picking up this victory. Because if he didn't get knocked down, he likely would have gotten the victory here by unanimous decision. But it goes Akrayun's way, and now he's in the driver's seat right now in the division. Moving on to the main event of the evening, we had a late heavyweight championship matchup where we saw Reinier the middleweight champion, defeat light heavyweight champion Aung Nsang by unanimous decision to claim the light heavyweight championship belt to become a two-division champion in one championship fighting. This was like a domination basically by Reinier, which saw him take the opening bell and then take down Sung right away. And basically that's basically what happened for the whole fight. He would take Sung down and then just pressure him and lock him into submission holds, and he nearly had a finish in the first round, but Aung La Sun was able to get out of it and then get in the clinch, which was then reversed by Reinier. And all he did was basically punch him and the whole fight and get him into clinch and get him in uncomfortable positions where he wasn't able to get his game going, and he was just frustrated for most of the fight until the fifth round, where Aung La Sun was able to reverse a clinch and then get on top of Reinier for the last 2 minutes. But it wasn't to be, because he would have needed to finish Reinier to pick up the victory, which he wasn't able to do. And other than that, all we can say that is that Reinier put on a masterful showing, like he did in the first fight, where he submitted Aung La Sun by first round submission. But this time, he wasn't able to do that. He came close, but he was able to show his all-around gas tank and patience and picking up the clear-cut, unanimous, dominated victory because of how he was able to pin him down and not let Aung La Sun do anything. And he was able to do his game, which was get him down in the clinch, hold him down, try and get a submission going. And even when he was winning by a lot, he was still trying to go for the finish. He still wanted to look dominant. And now he's a two-division champion in the middleweight and the light heavyweight division. And when they asked Reinier what's next for him, he called out Brandon Vera, who's fighting May 15th, and said that he wants a shot at the heavyweight division and that he wants to be a three-division champion now. So depending on if Brandon Vera can pick up the victory on May 15th, in which he's defending his heavyweight title, who knows? If he wins, let's hope that Reinier gets the next shot, because I want to see him be a three-division champion, because he's not typical two-division champion that is just dominating his competition. And we've never seen a guy dominate Aung La Sun like this, but Reinier did it, and he was victorious in this matchup, and the sky's the limit for him. But that is a wrap for the one on TNT IV recap show for you. Once again, Kirill Grashenko, Akrayun, and Reinier are victorious on the main card for you. If you pick them in Pick'em or on Draftkings, you definitely won a lot of money with the lines that they had on them. I went 2 for 3 on this, so it wasn't too bad, but I'm shooting for 3-0 next time. But this was the last card that's going to be shown in the U.S. until the late summer, when they're going to try and bring back one on TNT for season 2. But you can tune back in the middle of May for one championship back on its normal Friday morning 8:30 a.m. Time slot. since they cater to the Asia audience. But once again, this is Cage by IQ. This was the one on TNT IV Recap show. And this is Cage by IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on our handles here to the left on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. I'm your host, D-Bake. And then we're also affiliated with the Sports Box. So you can follow them right here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to YouTube. And then make sure you check out the full coverage of the NFL draft tomorrow at 8 o'clock on the Sports Box. And then check out all the content on the Sports Box for all the different sports out there. We cover everything. But if you got any questions, just give us a holler. And then don't forget to comment on this and let me know what you think and then who you had winning. But once again, I'm D-Bake, and you have a wonderful rest of your night. See ya.
Thank you for watching this episode of Cage My IQ on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.